Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are talking about the five whys. This is a very simple and elegant method by which we can root cause a problem. Now, what do I mean by root causing a problem? Well, here's the thing. Quite often when we look at a problem, we're not actually seeing the problem. We're seeing the result of the problem, the outcome of the problem. So, for example, one day I went downstairs and there was water all over the floor in the kitchen. Well, that's the problem, right? Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, we got to fix this because I don't want water damage. But that's not the problem. That's the result of the problem. Following the five whys, I was able to troubleshoot the root cause of the problem, which basically had to do with a broken garbage disposal. And yet, if I had just cleaned up the water and moved on with my day, I would not have successfully solved the problem. Okay, so how does the five whys work? How does it work? Well, it's pretty simple. You ask why 5 times. Let me give you some examples. We're going to start with an HR example. This is actually pretty darn close to a real world HR example that I've gone through in my career. So we start with, hey, human resources is getting too many calls from employees during open enrollment. Well, okay, why are they getting all those calls? Well, here's the deal, because employees aren't using the online tools provided to sign up for HR services. Well, why aren't they using the online tools you provided? Well, truth is, they can't find the online tools, and when they can find them, they're actually not very intuitive. They're kind of tricky to use. Well, why are the tools so hard to find and so difficult to use? Well, when we designed the internal company website, this is called an intranet, we didn't really take user experience into account. Why didn't you include user experience when you were designing the site? Well, because honestly, it's pretty expensive, and we don't usually invest the same level of user experience design to the internal company website as we normally would for an external customer facing website. Well, why don't you invest the same in your employees as you do in the customer's experience? Well, because truth is, we don't really value our employees the same as we do our customers. All right, I think we've found our problem. So you see, by going through the five whys, we were able to really get at what brought this situation together in the first place, and can we actually resolve the problem at its root versus at its periphery? All right, so we go ahead and add a few more call agents to the call center. And that's not really going to solve the problem, is it? Now, furthermore, one thing you've probably noticed is that, well, now this root issue of not valuing or investing in employees the same level as we do our customers, this might be the root of other problems. So, what's your attrition rate? Are you happy with employee performance? Is customer satisfaction where you want it to be? Odds are you're going to see some issues in these areas as well that can be root caused back to this original problem, taking care of the employees. Now, this is a great business tool to be sure, but it's also a great life hack. Let me show you some ways that you can use this in your life. So, we'll give an example of a resume. So I sent out 100 resumes and I haven't gotten a single interview. Well, wow. Why did you send out 100 resumes? Well, I did a mass mailing of a generic resume to open as many opportunities as possible. Well, surely you're not interested in every single one of those opportunities. Why didn't you customize the resume for specific jobs in which you are interested? Well, it takes a lot of work to customize each and every resume. Okay, yeah, I agree, but why does that take a lot of work? I mean, I get it takes work, but why are you hesitant to put in that kind of work? Well, truth is, I just don't know what to say. Okay, I get that, and that would make updating a resume or customizing it for an individual job more difficult, but why don't you know what to say? Well, at the end of the day, I don't really know what value I offer an employer. Okay, why don't you know this? You have offered great value in the past. Why don't you know what value you offer an employer? Well, I haven't really taken the time to sit down and figure out what I can truly offer an employer. Okay, I think we're getting to the problem now. You don't have a really good understanding of what your value is and what you can offer an employer. And I'll tell you what, if you don't know what your value is and you don't know what to offer an employer or what you can offer an employer sure isn't going to be able to figure that out from an ambiguous, vague, generic resume. And yeah, they're not going to call you. Okay, so that's a resume example. Well, how about time management? You know what? I just don't have enough time to get everything done. All right, why don't you have enough time? Well, I've got way too much going on. Well, why do you have so much going on? Well, truth is, I've kind of overcommitted myself. I have school, I have work, I have my family, I have my hobbies. I've overcommitted. Well, why did you overcommit to all these various stakeholders? Well, I don't want to let anybody down. Okay, I get that, but time is a finite resource. Why don't you want to let anybody down? Well, truth is, I kind of like feeling important and needed and valued. So when people ask me for help, it feels like they're valuing what I can contribute, and I like that feeling. Well, okay, I get that, but why is it so important to you to feel important, needed, and valued? Well, because alone I doubt myself, and I need that sort of external validation to speak to my worth, to validate my worth. Okay, now I'm starting to see a problem. I'm seeing the root cause of the problem is that your domain of self worth is really entrenched in what others think of you and what others need from you. So I know it kind of gets to be a little existential, right? Think about it. When we figured out the root cause of some of these problems, they weren't really, well, comfortable problems, which is one of the reasons I think we like to avoid the five whys because it really gets at some core deep issues. Nevertheless, if we're going to be successful, we need to get to the root cause and really find out what we need to do to solve these issues. And so there you go. You now have an extreme competitive advantage because you know how to get to the root issue, how to figure it out, and basically how to craft a solution around resolving that issue. Okay? So there you go. Thanks for joining. And until we talk again, have a fantastic day.